Fire in the hole.
Welcome to Amusement Park Road Trip. And now your hosts, Matt and Brandon.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Amusement Park Road Trip, where we talk parks and road trips. I'm Brandon.
I'm Matt. That was a solid start, Brandon.
Thanks. And today we're gonna talk about an amusement park.
This is all you, buddy.
Don't know what to say. Do we have banter at the beginning?
Nope.
We just get into it.
Just jump right into it.
Today we are talking about, as hinted at last week, talking about how far those silver dollars go.
I forgot we gave a hint last week. That's
sure
right.
Did.
It's a pretty obvious hint, I think, unless you've never heard of Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, no brass rings here, but there are indeed some. Well, are there? Are there any silver dollars in Silver Dollar City?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would guess no.
They're hard to come by.
They are hard to come by, yeah.
But if they were in any park, they would be here. We just cannot confirm or deny whether they exist in Silver Dollar City or not. So sorry. But I got to tell you, in doing research for this, I didn't know a lot. I was exposed to this park and thought it sounded pretty cool. But after doing research, I'm pretty obsessed with this park. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. The way I heard of it is my friend took his family this summer. And when he was planning it, he said, we're going to Branson, Missouri. And I had no idea where that was. And he said, we're going to Silver Dollar City. Never heard of that. And so I started looking into it, and I was blown away with the roller coasters that they had. So then, yeah, you get deeper into doing the research, and you are like, oh, look at, because I'm pretty sure this amusement park does count as a theme park. So
yeah,
the theming is mining.
The theming is 1800s.
Yeah. So the theming is awesome. It looks really cool. In fact, I was watching a video of this couple that were there, and they're talking about how it feels like just this whole park feels like a frontier land, and they just have really got the theming down. So if you could take a Disney park and expand it to make a whole park, that's what it felt like. It's that they took Frontierland, expanded it, and made it an entire park. And that's what you felt like you're at.
That's right. So yeah, lots of cool things that we're going to find out about this park. So originally built by Mary, Jack, and Peter Herschend, and it's a bit loaded. We'll get into how it all began, because a lot of amusement parks don't have a logical beginning, in that one day someone woke up and said, I want to build an amusement park, right? And it was the case with this one. It didn't just become an amusement park. It started with other things.
Right.
I mean, similar to, well, never mind. I won't say other places because we don't want to spoil surprises for future episodes, but
you could say it, because I think I'm going to say it as well.
You're going to say
on the count of three?
Sorry, 1, 2, 3.
Knott's Berry Farm.
Good job. Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm started as a chicken place, and then it became an amusement park someday. So anyway, similar to that, Silver Dollar City has its origins in the late 1800s when Marble Cave was discovered. Now, it was originally called Marble Cave. It's now Marvel Cave, but it was called Marble Cave because multiple mining companies believed there were large deposits of marble. They only ended up finding guano and limestone in the end. So didn't make sense to leave the name as marble if there's no marble in there. But multiple people came through and thought there was a big slab of marble in the ceiling. And yeah, after all that time, nothing was found. But we got a cool cave out of it. William Henry Lynch purchased the cave and a square mile around it for $10,000, which any guess what the equivalent would be today from the 1800s to now?
$10,000. I'm going to say $3.2 million.
Nope, not quite.
More?
326,000.
Oh, Samsonite. I was way off.
Anyway, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. The last name, Hugo Herschend. He was a vacuum cleaner salesman, and he purchased a 99-year lease on the cave in April of 1950. After his death in 1955, Mary and her children continued operations, which included the construction of a railroad in the cave. Sort of, maybe not your traditional railroad. It's not going through it, but something similar to easily get through and around the cave. The park began as an 1800s Ozark village and had several reenactments of the famous Hatfield and McCoy feud. You know much about that, Matt? Hatfields and McCoys?
I think so. The one of the Hatfields fell in love with one of the McCoys. She ended up poisoning herself, and he thought she poisoned herself, and so he killed himself, but she was really alive. Or did she die in the end?
Close enough.
Okay.
Is that real?
No, that's Romeo and Juliet.
I know it's Romeo and Juliet.
No, I don't know about the Hatfields and what was it? McCoy? Wait, what?
Hatfields and McCoys, the famous,
Hatfields and McCoys. No, I don't know about
the
them.
OG rivalry. I guess the second OG rivalry, because the real rivalry is the one you just shared of the Romeo and Juliet families
Yeah.
feuding. But if you read, I think it's Tom Sawyer Huck Finn, one of the books, it goes in extensively about this feud that some believe is still alive today. But anyway, that's what they had back in the day when it officially opened on May 1st, 1960. The park started charging admission in 1968, and today the land is owned by the College of the Ozarks and the Branson Presbyterian Church. I was going to say,
Interesting.
this is our first amusement park owned by a church, but it's only the second one we've covered. So I don't know if there's a lot of parks owned by churches.
Yeah. For now, we could say 50% of the parks we've covered are owned by churches.
Yeah. And I will say that ownership it's felt within the park. You can tell that it's not like an overly religious park, but you can see that there's definite church influence in the park.
I noticed that when I was looking through, and you don't see this. I didn't see this in any of the videos I watched on the park, but there is a spot. Let me see if I can find it. There's a shed, and I think it was this top one. Let me look really quick. Oh, the Wilderness Church. And in the Wilderness Church, I think they hold like Sunday services. Join us for church services every operating Sunday. But it says an old-fashioned hymn sing-alongs each operating day. So I thought, it's just part of the theming, part of the experience. But no, it's coming to church. Experience the peaceful charm of Silver Dollar City's Wilderness Church.
I would say it still is part of the theming, but maybe it's just a way to get some folks in there feeling the spirit of the Lord. But it's religious, but I wouldn't say it's so much in your face.
Right.
If that makes sense. It's not like you're in the Vatican of the Presbyterian Church or something like that. Anyway, even though the land is owned by those two entities, the park is currently owned by the Herschend Family Entertainment. So still a family-owned park to some degree. And I'd assume they get support from those other two. It has a total of 41 attractions, which includes still to this day the Marvel Cave, but also has 7 roller coasters and many other unique attractions you wouldn't find elsewhere.
That's very true. And just going back, we kind of already mentioned this, but so they had Marvel Cave and they started getting business there and decided, let's build Main Street. And so that was the first thing they built to accompany Marvel Cave. So people that came to visit, because there was a lot of people coming from around different places, not just Branson or not just Missouri. And so, again, similar to Knott's Berry Farm, where people are coming and lining up to get a chicken dinner. I was like, hey, let's build something to entertain these people. So they built Main Street. And then it's just expanded from there.
Yeah, I would say it's expanded big time. It's quite a marvel.
It is quite a marvel.
So I got some fun facts for you. This one, I think, is in part due to it being religiously influenced. But while many amusement parks opt for a scary Halloween time experience, Silver Dollar City focuses on a traditional fall festival, complete with fall cuisine and family-friendly entertainment. I think they've leaned a little more into the Halloween aesthetic, lots of pumpkins and fog and kind of a more spooky atmosphere, but there's not haunted house type things going on during the fall.
Is that because of the religious?
That's my assumption. Because I think it's really easy to lean into that if you're a park, and a good way to draw people in. People like that, enjoy that type of entertainment. But I think it's unique and fun that they don't do that and focus more on a fall festival and the old school fall festival feeling like you would have got in the 1800s, I guess. Just particularly with this church, that's not their thing. And so they're not doing, the scary stuff. They're focusing on the fun fall feel.
Which makes sense.
So I mentioned a little bit of this in the beginning, but there are 11 different demonstrations at the park demonstrating life in the 1800s, which include candle making, glass blowing, and a blacksmith. So really leaning into that theming you mentioned, that frontierland feel, and they still make and sell stuff that's been created here in the park, still functioning to this day.
Yeah, if you go into the stores, there'll be a little sticker on there. And I think the sticker says made here in the USA, but what that sticker really means was made here in the park. And so if you find that sticker, it was made right there, which is pretty cool.
And they have a lot of those shops, which is a great recipe for that fall festival where they can sell a lot of things and really focus on this was made in the park. This is authentic, made in the USA, kind of. I think it's pretty cool because a lot of parks are just going to find your same old chintzy created merchandise or whatever, but you can actually get useful things you'd want to take home and use and display here at this park.
Like a furniture set.
Yeah. The park still performs a nativity at Christmas time, but they also do their own production. And this, I would say, not so recently, but they used to have their own production of It's a Wonderful Life. It seems they stopped this within the last couple of years due to some copyright claims, but Matt knows this about me. I'm a big fan of that story, that movie. And so I can't speak to the quality of the reenactment or version that they did at the park, but I would have loved to see that someday.
What's the angel's name? Lawrence? No.
Clarence. There
Clarence
actually is a funny comment in that movie when he jumps off the bridge and saves Clarence. This guy takes him into his little shack or whatever and says, it's illegal to kill yourself around here. And then Clarence says, it's illegal where I come from too. Heaven.
Huh. I've never noticed that. What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yeah.
That's funny. I've never noticed that.
Anyway, great story. Like I said, I don't think they do it to this day. And what I read was probably due to copyright stuff. They didn't maybe have the right to perform it, but it seemed like it was a beloved little attraction. Another attraction associated with Silver Dollar City is a ride on an old-time riverboat, which includes a 3-course meal and a show. This is another thing right up my love of the old-timey things. Old school riverboat.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to when my friend went. I can't remember if he did this or not, but this is something I would love to do. I think it would be a lot of fun.
I mean, they've got a riverboat at Disneyland, but that thing's on a track, I don't think this is on a track. This is the real deal.
Yeah, it is the real deal.
And I didn't see the prices for it. I wouldn't assume it's the cheapest thing in the world, but man alive, sounds like a fun time. But Matt, let's take a walk through the park. So let's start by saying we love the interactive map that was provided by Knoebels.
Yes.
This one, not so much.
No, this one, you can't even. I was trying to make it fit my entire screen. So I was trying to make the map smaller by doing the old Control- button. And it doesn't change the size of the map at all. And it's not interactive at all.
Yeah, you're better off using Google Maps here, I think. So try our best to kind of give our overview of the map. But you walk in and you enter on Main Street. And right away, you've got some shops around, as you'd expect on a main street. Got a central store up in the corner there, Molly's Mill. Got the blacksmith candy shop. So it takes a bit of a walk to get to the first couple of rides. I think they've got this section called Homestead Ridge, which is pretty cool. Again, just all old buildings, that old 1800s feel. Really cool stuff. A lot of the videos that I watched didn't focus on this stuff. Maybe it's just not these theme park junkies or amusement park junkies cup of tea, but I think it's a place we'd hang out a little more. We like this kind of stuff. We'd walk through and explore a little bit. But let's talk about some of the notable rides. So I think maybe your first, if you're going to the right as you enter in, you've got the Thunderation. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Thunderation.
It's maybe not the most high flying roller coaster,
Yeah, that's for sure.
but still a good one nonetheless. If you go a little further past that one, I think you come to one that stuck out for me, the Time Traveler. It's a time travel theme, if you could guess by the name, but I really like the queue with all the time traveling stuff it has in it. But it's a very unique ride cart that you're in.
Right. Yeah, it has a really cool time travel themed sign in the front. And then, yeah, I think the queue tells the story as you go through if you're paying attention. And then the cart spins while you ride. And it's huge. It has a few really good drops and it also has a few launches that you might not be ready for. Although I don't think they catch you off. I don't think they catch you by surprise as you ride. I think you realize what's going on. But my friend, when he went, he rode this over and over and said it's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the videos I watched. They went on it multiple times, so this is definitely a favorite. Looks like a cool roller coaster. Walking up a little from there as you continue along, the Grand Exposition section. It's kind of more, how would you say it, your carnival-y type rides. Got a carousel,
Yeah,
which of note is not an adult carousel or not for adults as much. It's just kind of a kids carousel, which I think is interesting.
right.
Definitely not going to be a separate carousel boys episode for this one because we probably couldn't even write it.
I think we
And you've
could.
got
I don't know.
maybe, but through here you also got kind of a ship back and forth ride.
What are those rides called? I'm curious.
What is it like? It's called the barn swing, right?
No,
No,
that's a
that's a
different
different
one.
one.
That's a different one. This one, let me find it, is not on here. Did I skip it? Did I miss it? Huh. See, this is the problem. So we're navigating back and forth between the map and the list of rides to try to give you the best content that they actually have on their website. And we can't find it's on the map, this tidal wave. Oh, not tidal wave, but this ship ride that swings back and forth at our park. It's called Tidal Wave, and we can't even find it. So that's on the map, but we can't find it in the list of rides. So I guess
Just know if you're going through the section, just kind of more of those carnival-y type rides, right?
yeah,
Good stuff. Maybe not our focus because a lot of them you can go on elsewhere. So as you come out that area, what are you looking for?
red. I'm looking for the man. This site is not great
Yeah.
because I was gonna look for the Red Gold Heritage Hall. I saw watching videos. I saw like some live shows that were really entertaining, and I was wondering, oh, does it take place in here? That's what the entrance looks like, but I don't know because it's not listed on our website. I
No,
promise we
it's
did
not.
our research and we watched, at least for me, part of my research is looking at the lists of rides, watching people go through the park. But now as we're recording, this website is just kind of lacking, I would say.
Yeah, step up your park map game, I would say. Oh, Mighty Galleon is that ship ride.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. You also have Elephant March in there, the carousel, the Grand Exposition coaster. That one's I think what we were talking about, a little more geared to the younger type ride.
That is what we
They've
were
got,
talking about. Why is that not on here?
I don't know.
Maybe this should be our last complaint, and then our listeners know we're complaining about this. Look at the park
Forget
map. There's
forget everything we've said. We don't even like this park because their park map's so terrible. I'm not I shouldn't even be here.
I shouldn't even be here. I don't want to be
Yeah.
here anymore.
It's more of a Kittyland section, right? They've got a ripoff of Dumbo in there,
Yeah.
clearly a ripoff, and then they've got this red tail. What is it called? Red Gold Heritage Hall,
Yeah.
which it does seem to be a place. I don't know if this is where they had the It's a Wonderful Life, but they've got like a circus type show, and they do I don't know, yeah, kind of a circus, right? You watched that video where they were talking about they've got like trapeze people, fire dancers, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool what they do. Really unique for an amusement park. But moving right along, you got some more rides. Uh, let's see. Is that where Fire in the Hole is? Fireman's Landing?
I think this will be where the new one is.
Where's the old one? Oh, it's way over there. Good grief. You would think Fireman's Landing would have Fire in the Hole, but it does not.
Yeah, and I believe the new one coming out next year, I think is in Fireman's Landing.
So it makes sense. Yeah, so up past that, you walk past some more theaters, more playhouses in that area, and then Firefall. Oh, you have a ride that gives Matt nightmares
Yeah,
called the
actually,
Firefall.
I think I would really like this one. It is very small, which is really interesting to watch it like shoot up. And I think it's less than like how tiny that is.
Yeah, it's
Firefall.
not that bad.
No, it's really not that tall at all. It's 8-story, the 8-story fire tower.
Well, that's just an elevator.
So, but you do have to be 48 inches. I think I could handle this one. In fact, I think this would be really good. This is an attraction that blasts you off. How else do you say it? It's an elevator shaft that you shoot up and down.
Yeah.
And I think actually the bottom where you load and unload is covered so you can't see out from you. And then you shoot up and you can see past the buildings and stuff. And this is in the Ozarks, so you get an amazing view and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. But I don't think I'd be scared of this particular ride. I think I would really enjoy this, especially at the height. It'd probably throw off my like senses because I would used to being shot up a lot higher. So I'd be confused why we'd be stopping so short.
Anyway, moving along. So you also have a playhouse area in here, firehouse theme, which seems pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Definitely something that the kids would enjoy, but heck, I think I'd have fun with this thing too. You shoot these little blue balls everywhere. Yeah, it's a cool thing. So kind of walk out of that area and into Rivertown. You've got the Mystic River Falls, which is this the
This is the Rapids ride,
yeah, the Rapids ride.
which is extremely unique. I've never seen anything like
Yeah.
it. So it's your typical Rapids ride. Pretty extreme, pretty fun. But then you get to a part where it takes you up an elevator shaft and then dumps you in a giant water slide. Think of a water slide with a tube, and now think of a water slide with the size of a tube that holds 8 people. And you go down this water slide, you circle around once, and you drop straight down.
Yeah, pretty extreme, as you mentioned, but very, very unique to rapid rides. I can think of only one other rapid ride that's different. And again, that's Knott's Berry Farm. That one's pretty cool. But there's so many as you walk along, go and get into each of these rides and each of these sections. There's so many theaters and just little shops everywhere. So you're not getting bored on your journey between each of the rides.
Right.
You go past the Rivertown section. You've got that barn swing, which I mentioned a little earlier. And that seems like a pretty intense ride also.
It seems terrifying. I think I would really, I would really want to try it. I think I would be terrified, but I think it looks like a lot of fun. You swing really high.
Yeah, looks terrifying to me. But again, just love the aesthetic. The red barn, it's cool.
I was listening to an interview of, I think, the president of the park or somebody high up, and he was talking about how they really make a conscious effort to not just bring in typical rides you can find anywhere else. They want to be unique. And he mentioned when we do bring in rides like this, the bar swing, where other parks do have it, we want to make it feel a little bit different. So that's why they did the theming with the barn around it. So it gives it that themed feeling that it fits in this park.
Yeah.
So even though the ride may not be completely unique to this park, the fact that it's in a barn or surrounded by a barn makes it feel like it fits perfectly at Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, totally agree with that. If you go a little bit past the barn swing, you have, I think it's like the biggest roller coaster they have. the Outlaw Run,
Oh yeah.
which again, fitting with theming outlaws and a really scenic ride through trees, and it's a really pretty ride.
I guess this is a good point to mention. Well, maybe we should have said this at the beginning of the episode. If this is your first episode listening to, and we're just blowing through these rides, there will be a second episode, a part 2, where we'll actually go into depth of some of these rides. So there's a lot to talk about with Time Traveler and the Outlaw Run, and we're going to talk more about
Just
those.
a quick overview.
Yeah, this is just a quick overview. So next week we'll be talking more about those.
So like an outlaw, I'm just going to run right the other way real quick. And you got to get through a lot. There's some other things you're going to pass as you're leaving this Wilson Farm section. You're going to pass the river blast, which is pretty cool. You're going to pass, looks to be the train entrance. So there's a train that goes around the whole park. It's really, again, a really pretty train ride experience. Really cool when they have their fall decorations and things set up. But we need to get through, and on the other side, I mean, you can't get there straight from the barn swing section. You need to go around. You got to get to Fire in the Hole, which, again, we'll go into more depth in our next episode, but it seems to be the most unique and the ride I'd care to go on the most if going to this park.
Right. It is an iconic ride. I think it's been around since the 70s. And at the beginning of this season, they announced this is the last season of Fire in the Hole. And then later on announced that they're rebuilding Fire in the Hole. It's in a different spot, though, from what I understand, because they're already building it and Fire in the Hole still running.
In one of the videos, they pointed out where the new show building or the new ride was going to be. I don't know where that is in relation to the park.
I think it's in Fireman's Landing.
But that makes more sense where it would be, right?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
If they really want to stick with the theming. But yeah, Fire in the Hole. Then you got Powder Keg around the corner there. Another really cool ride.
An interesting launch ride. That one's very unique.
It's got this whole section where it's kind of like a fail safe where you go back, but it's just used for like just in case. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we'll talk about it in the next episode. Maybe. And yeah, from there you walk kind of towards the entrance a little bit more around the side, and there's the American Plunge, Wildfire, another roller coaster. But yeah, lots of great rides here and lots of cool things to check out.
There is.
Did we miss anything?
You did not miss anything, but the map missed something, which has bothered me a lot. So
very much left to be desired.
Yeah, the map doesn't even point out Marvel Cave, which is the whole like beginning of the park. So it doesn't point out Marvel Cave. And then again, I was listening to a podcast and I was aware of it from watching a few videos that there is Grandfather's Mansion, which is just a walkthrough attraction, like kind
of like a fun house.
A fun house, yeah. There's like an upside down room and it starts getting wonky where it's really confusing to walk. Also, reviewing the map, we missed another ride, the Flooded Mine.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an interactive ride with guns, and you ride through on a boat, and it's these prisoners working in a mine, but the mine's flooding. And so, yeah, a lot of fun. It's interactive. From what I've heard, sometimes the gun works, sometimes it doesn't. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm not usually a big fan of the interactive shooter type rides, but this one looks pretty cool just to ride on it.
Yeah.
And we should say, since you pointed it out, it's crazy to me that the Marvel Cave is just in the middle of the park. I mean, it's a cave, so it goes down. You can have room for it, but it's kind of just smack dab in where is it?
Like the entrance, but the whole park is basically built over it. So there are hills you're going up and down, and that's because of the cave. Again, the owner, the interview I listened to said you could almost fit the Statue of Liberty inside the tallest area, almost. So not quite, but that's really tall.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's really big. So, and it's not even listed here. And again, Grandfather's Mansion's not even listed on the map. So next week we will be covering some of these things more in depth because they are interesting. I feel like, and not necessarily on our part, but reviewing the map like that, it was kind of boring because
doesn't give it justice.
Yeah, the map's a little bit lacking, but nevertheless, we have done our research. We were very excited about this park. It is very cool. And my legs are pretty tired after walking that entire park.
Yeah, this virtual road trip we're taking, it's really wearing me down. But I've got a quiz for you, Matt. It's quiz time.
All right, let's do it.
First question. No, Matt has not read these questions, so this is his first time hearing these. No cheating, Matt.
All right.
In 1976, the Herschend family bought Gold Rush Junction theme park. What is this park called today? A. Dorney Park. B. Dollywood. C. Silver Beach.
I believe this is Dollywood.
Ding, ding, ding. Good job. Do you know that?
Yeah. Dollywood was originally the second Silver Dollar city, and then they switched it to Dollywood. So, from what I understand, there are actually a few similar rides at Dollywood. I believe there's another Fire in the Hole. It's called something different, but very similar to Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City. They have something like that at Dollywood. So,
It's called Water in the Open. Second question. The blank show visited the amusement park to the start of their 1969 to 1970 season. A. Happy Days. B. The Muppet Show. C. The Beverly Hillbillies.
I think I know this one as well. I think it's the Beverly Hillbillies.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, you've got a Ozark theme park. Who better to bring in than the Beverly Hillbillies themselves? I wanted to go back. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance. I wanted to go back and watch these episodes if I could, but from what I understand, it didn't really use as much of the park except for maybe like the old school building section. I don't think there were roller coasters in the episode.
Okay.
You're not going to know they're in the amusement park. It's just utilizing the old buildings and the shops and things like that.
It's not like Full House visiting Walt Disney World.
Right. But yeah, if I would have done my due diligence, I would have gone through YouTube and found you can watch all these episodes on YouTube. So there you go. Check it out.
I know what it's comparable to. It's more like the very popular movie Luck of the Irish, and they just so happen to be at a festival with a Ferris wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not at a theme park or amusement park.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question. The ride Thunderation is a roller coaster that opened in 1993. One distinct feature of this ride prior to 2010 was A, the ride would simulate a breakdown at random intervals of the day to add suspense for guests. B, the ride had a number of backward cars. Or C, an unapproved use of the song Thunderstruck as the ride's music.
I'm not going to say C. A and B are both incredible, but A, so it just randomly breaks down. I don't feel like that makes sense because unless it happened every ride, people would just assume it really did break down. So I'm going to say B, some of the cars faced backwards.
Ding, ding, ding. 3 for 3, Matt. Good work.
All right.
Yeah, they had a number of backward cars on the ride, which, would have been cool. I mean, I personally would have liked my idea, the simulated breakdown throughout random intervals, which would give guests some pause, right? Because you wouldn't know if it was actually breaking down or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no unapproved Thunderstruck music, unfortunately.
Dang.
Good job, Matt.
Thank you. I'll be honest, I am terrible at tests, so I feel really good about myself right now.
We're all so proud of you.
Thank you. I can tell by the excitement in your voice.
So tell me, Matt, what's one ride you would want to ride here if given the opportunity?
That one's easy for me. It'd be the Time Traveler.
Really?
Yeah. It looks amazing. It looks really cool. And how the carts turn while you're riding it, which if you don't understand what we mean by that, I suggest you just, if you haven't seen this ride, go watch a video on YouTube. The cars are spinning, but not super fast. It's more of a slow spin. I don't think they're controlled spins because I've heard people talk about different experiences based on the weight distribution. But even if the cart didn't spin, this would be an amazing roller coaster. The cart spinning adds to it. And again, it doesn't spin very fast. So I don't think, well, first of all, if you got motion sick at all, this would probably trigger you. But if you don't, I don't think it would make you sick. It's not spinning a ton while you're riding. But what about you? What would you ride?
I was going to say for you, the cool part is if you complete the ride correctly, you can go on it an infinite amount of times. Get it? Because it's a time traveler.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what they should that's what they should do is when you leave, they're like, it's 10:23. And when you arrive, they're like, it's 10:22, 10:23.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And they reenact that. It's like deja vu. where
You
when
travel
you
through
arrive,
time.
it's the exact as when you left.
Or maybe you'll just think it's a really short ride and you'll be confused.
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
I would like this ride. I would enjoy going on it, but Fire in the Hole would, as I kind of hinted at, would be the ride for me. It's a roller coaster. It's got theming. It's got everything you'd want. I tried to even scheme. Is there any way I could get to this park before they tear down this current iteration of the ride before it's too late? And the answer is no. I'm not going to make it there, but it's a great ride.
Which I've heard the latter scene in Fire in the Hole with the guy hanging out is in the new ride as well. That will be
Thank
there.
goodness.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to make it. I've got maybe like a month or two left to get to Branson, Missouri. I don't usually go to Branson, Missouri, so getting there is not an easy task. But
Right.
if you have the chance, if you really want to go on this ride, you still have a little bit of time to make it before the new one comes along. Is there any food you would really particularly like to try here?
No, but there's a food spot I would like to sit.
A food spot where you'd like to sit. Okay, please elaborate.
I don't know where exactly it is on the map, but again, when my friend visited, he sent a picture of him and his family sitting and eating right next to a waterfall in the wilderness. It looked like they were in the mountains right by a waterfall. So
Wow.
that looked really cool. I think they had like giant corn dogs, which is sometimes are good, sometimes they're not.
Or sometimes they're in the middle.
Yep. People either love them or hate them or think they're okay.
Yeah, I think kind of similar to our last park. They really stand on their food here. It's a real big draw. They've got some really good barbecue. I mean, you're not too far from Kansas City, and that's the barbecue capital of the world. So they got barbecue in these skillets. I've also got some really great, as any good 1800s themed park. Got some good old school ice cream, and the cinnamon rolls appear to be a big draw. So yeah, I would eat all of these things. Maybe not together, possibly together. Just put it all in one big plate. But some really good food here, and I think especially as mentioned before in that fall festival, they really bring out all the stops with the food. But as we kind of wrap things up, we like to look at what other people think of the park, particularly the people that do not have the highest opinion of the park, because those are the most fun. It's fun to see what people have to say.
When you only leave one star. It is fun to see what people have to say. And just
I have
overall,
some saved if you want me to
oh,
go through
good.
those.
Yeah. Overall, if you look at on Google, there are almost 31,000 reviews and it's 4.6 stars. So you know it's a really good place. But we like to look for the 1 stars because, well, sometimes people just don't know how to rate things or they say funny things. Like, for instance, somebody being like, great park. That's all they put. And then they give it a 1
But
star.
1
And
star.
you're like, well, what the heck was that about? So, or of course, mine and Brandon's favorite phrase, which you can find at almost, if you search anything and look at
Every
the
single
reviews.
thing has a review like this.
If I could, I'd give it 0 stars. Every review has that. So,
Did you know it's possible to give 0 stars?
oh, is it?
You just don't leave a review.
Oh, yeah. So, no, it's not possible then.
Yes, it is. Because if you don't review it, then you're not giving it any stars.
Okay. We'll save that debate for a later time.
But 1 star, it gives the appropriate response in that people look at it and think, is this real? Is it really this bad? You're looking at this first one here. This person says, I've lived in the Ozarks for nearly 20 years. I was 6 years old when I went to Silver Dollar City for the first time in 2004. Many great memories. With that being said, this overcrowding situation is a logistical nightmare. I've never seen it this bad in almost 20 years of visiting the park. Everyone wants to come here, especially at the end of the year when the weather is great, but the park's simply not built to handle this many people at once. I don't think this person's been to any other amusement park in the world because every park is overcrowded and everyone wants to go to it. That's nothing unique, right?
Right. Okay, this is a theme we're going to find as we review parks, is that there's always going to be the 1 star local person. Back 20 years ago, it was so much better, and then they'll go off about why it used to be better, and now it's overcrowded, or like that is very common to find that kind of review.
Yeah. You're not telling us anything unique, buddy. This person says it is a complete waste of money, and they spelled waste WAIST. So maybe they're going with the silver dollar theme, the money theme.
It's always why is it fun to look at 1-star reviews and critique their spelling?
It's just funny to see that it takes away their credibility if they don't use proper grammar or
Right.
spell things right. But yeah, they said they did spell waste later on correctly, complete waste of money, and they said they spent $400, which is a good amount to
Yeah.
spend. Do I believe they really spent that amount? No, I don't.
Well, it
But
depends on how many. It doesn't say how many. If it was a family of 5 or 6,
that's true. That's true.
or no,
All right.
maybe even a family of 4 is $400.
Yeah. It's not free to get in, and you have to pay for food and stuff. So it could be. I think it's funny when people get so specific with their number. And I just don't think people really have done the math to figure it out. If I went to this park, I could tell you exactly how much I spent over the course of the day, down to the penny. But I think most people just like to throw out a big number, and it's flashy
Yeah.
and gives them validity to what they're saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But they still included a picture to look like they're having a good time. So that's a little strange too. We hated it, but here's pictures of us having a great time here.
Yeah, they did include a lot of pictures.
Ike gives a 1-star review and says, I understand why they call it still your dollar city.
Oh my gosh.
Another person saying it was the biggest waste of money and time. If you have been to Disney World, this will feel like a carnival to you. The roller coasters are super unsafe. My 11-year-old hurt his back and got a headache from the very first roller coaster. Literally considering an ER visit to get him checked out. I didn't get that vibe looking at the park, that it was carnival-like, maybe some rides, right? But
Right.
it seems like the roller coasters are even pretty smooth.
Yeah. I have a 1-star here that was given a week ago. And this is something I could actually get behind. It says, if you want to see the cave and only the cave, you will still have to pay for a full ticket. It's dumb, and they spelled dumb wrong. But yeah, I agree with that. I think, especially because the cave's at the very front of the park. But what the problem is that because you go hike down the cave, you don't hike back up. You ride a tram that's part of like a pulley system, a counterweight where there's another tram that is going down as you're being pulled up, and that lets you out into the park. So that makes sense. They just have to hire another employee. Well, I don't know. Do they do a separate exit for people that only paid for the cave?
I mean, some parks offer entrance only passes, and you need to have either tickets or wristbands to go on rides. I mean, that's an option.
If you're a ride operator at the line, you just check for wristbands. If they don't have a wristband, they're not riding. So that's one way to solve it. But all right, do we have time for one more? Do you have one more good one, or is that it?
So most of the park was great. Rides fun. People were pleasant. There was one gentleman. I love how the whole thing is ruined by one person. One gentleman working the taffy checkout today that was downright disrespectful, especially to my daughter looking at the candy. Ruined her day and was supposed to be a happy, fun memory. As I was talking to my daughter, I said, they're going to take this up front for us to pick up. The smart says, oh, I am? Sorry. So disrespectful. That would have ruined the entire trip for me.
Yeah. And all of that. See, it's sad that it's a 1-star when you had such a great time. I don't know about you, Brandon, but generally I pay attention to like the positive things and don't focus on the negative, but that's just me.
Agreed. And not going to say any of these people's feelings are invalid. It's just funny to see what they say, and especially when they mess up with their words or their spelling. But what are your final thoughts? Would we really want to visit this park?
Agreed. I think we do want to visit this park. I think I would
I was
enjoy.
trying to scheme how I could get there this year. So yeah, I want to visit it.
Yeah. I want to take my family on a road trip there. It'd be a 2-day drive for us, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. The problem is my daughter does not like roller coasters. So it might not be as fun for her because this is more of although they only have, I think, 7 roller coasters, but still that's a lot of the fun right there. So she's not a fan. I guess she could ride Fire in the Hole, even though that does have a drop, and that's what she doesn't like.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a road trip for us. As you said, 2 full days driving there. But, it's a cool area. I've never been to Missouri, the Ozark area. And so I think for that alone, it'd be cool. But just knowing that there's this really awesome amusement park, and maybe, wasn't really on my radar prior to this. So definitely makes me want to venture out that direction.
Yeah, for sure.
One of our most important questions is, does this have a waterfall in the park?
At least one that I know about.
Yeah, the one where you want to eat the food, right?
Yeah.
I would say there is even a waterfall in the cave,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is pretty cool. So you got that one. You've got, that rapids ride. That's a pretty big waterfall. I don't know if that counts, but I would say there's a couple of waterfalls in this park, so it gets my stamp of approval. Any final thoughts?
It is really hot in my car and I'm ready to stop recording.
It's hot in the car we're both in because we
Oh,
are
that's
on
right.
a road trip.
We're on a road trip in my car recording this. I thought it's like a good soundproof. It's like people record in their closets all the time, but I don't want to wake my kids up, so I don't want to record in my closet, be too loud. So I was like, I'll record in my car. So I've
we
really
see?
enjoyed doing this episode. I look forward to doing the rides next week, more of the rides and attractions, because I would like to talk about Grandfather's house.
Yes,
Yeah.
Grandfather's Mansion.
So I'm excited, looking forward to that, but I'm ready to be done recording because I'm hot and sweaty.
I'll say this, Matt. The solution to you can still record in the car, but just mimic what you're doing in our podcast art and just hang out the window. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Get a fan blowing. See, that's the other thing. Can't have a fan blowing. Don't want to hear that. So I guess this
Yeah.
is the realities of recording a podcast. Is it's going to get hot and sweaty.
I give this podcast recording a 1 star for how hot it is.
Oh, I was going to say your performance, but I guess that's true.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for taking this journey through Silver Dollar City. As Matt said, look forward to talking next week a little more in depth about some of the great rides we found.
I'm looking forward to it, Brandon.
Okay. Thanks for listening. What do we say? How do we end this?
Catch you on the flip side of our next drive.
Oh, like the coin flip? Okay, I get it.